Like one of
No, don't go back. No regresa.
Yeah.
Anywhere else.
The 29th or 30th of January, and you told him he had 45 days. He's told me he has not used since he got out.
The bond violation we're here on is because they called him to go take a test and he failed to go take a test.
Your Honor, I did send a letter from Bel Air Hospital. He checked in that day and was in there for a week.
Oh.
Bel Air Behavioral Hospital. And I would ask if, I think his court date is March 18th, and I think that's still there, and I would ask if we could test him that day. He said he was using the concentrated stuff. He has not used since he bonded out, is what he's told us.
The thing is that if you're taking psychotropic medication, anxiety medication, if you're taking medication that's supposed to help, like they would give you at the Bel Air place, and you use marijuana, or you use other things like other illegal substances, it's going to contraindicate. It's going to affect, and you never know how bad it will affect it. So you don't want to do that because it can make things so much worse. I've had friends that have used other things. They now have to learn how to walk. They used, K2, they used Kush. They literally lost their brain. That's why when you're taking the medication that you take that they give you to the hospital, don't use other things like don't smoke weed, don't use other things. And if there are other people that try to give it to you, you gotta get away because it's not gonna help. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, don't use. That's all I'm asking you to do and stay out of trouble. I'm with you, Mr. England. That's okay. Yeah. If you want to do the 18th,
I think we're set for that day.
Yeah. Okay. So just be good. That's all I'm asking. It's not hard. All right. You got a great lawyer. He's out to help you. We are too. Anything you need, just let me know. All right. Are you in school? Why not?
Job, I work at Whataburger now. I got a job, I work at Whataburger now.
Great. Why not finish school? Did you graduate from high school? You got to, man. Really? Because when you have a high school diploma, you'll make so much more money than people that don't have one. Is that something that's feasible, you think, Mr. England?
I'll talk with him about it. I'll talk with his mother about it. It seems like
too.
I don't think she's here today, but
we can get it to you. We can get your classes for free. All you got to say that you want to do it. Let me know. We'll get you some classes for free. Okay? I guess let's first work on one thing, and then we can,
I'll talk with him about
Okay.
it.
All right. Good luck, John.
Thank you.
Be proud, man. Mr. B.
We on Mr. Jalen McCray. Yes, sir. No, sir.
Good morning, Mr. McCray. Mr. McCray, you're charged with assault, bodily injury. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement where they're offering you 6 days in jail with credit for the 2 days that you've done. You need to understand that this charge will go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. From now on, you're facing a minimum of 90 days in jail here. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You're giving up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront, cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you accept this agreement, there's no changing this.
Yes, sir.
It's what you want to do.
Yes, sir.
Chuck, and if I may the record reflect that Mr. McCray is currently on probation on a felony in Hidalgo County. However, I've spoken with him, and he has informed me that he has had conversation with his probation officer, and his probation officer informed him that a plea of guilty in this case would not result in the revocation of filing a MRP on the felony case.
I will make a documentation that you told me that. I'll admonish him accordingly. And then, so you're on probation, felony or misdemeanor probation? Okay. A lot of times these outside counties are a lot tougher than we are here in Harris County. You need to be extremely careful depending on what you're on probation for, because this can be used as a vehicle to revoke that probation, resulting in further confinement or sending you to prison. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Not only that, if they let you squeeze by where they don't do anything, chances are it's probably not going to happen many times where you can just continue to take up cases and not expect them to, life doesn't work like that. There are consequences when you act like a dangerous person out there in the free world. Don't. You have a job?
No, sir.
Why not?
Well, when I went to jail, I called my boss man to help me get bonded out. I work for a moving company.
What did he pay for your bond?
He paid for my bond, then just got his money, like, he bonded me out. And when I got bonded out, I just worked out my debt, and then he just stopped putting me on the schedule. It's like an under the table job.
Not too much time on your hands. You become self-destructive. You start hanging out with the wrong people. When you put your heart and soul into something, you can achieve anything. That's what makes this place so great. Don't matter who you are, what color you are. None of that matters. If you work hard, you can do anything in this life. I know your record sucks, but nevertheless, if you work hard and people know that you put everything into it, the only way you can go is up.
So,
How do you plead to the offense of assault? Guilty or not guilty?
yes.
I'm going to find you guilty. I will follow the agreement, send you to 6 days in jail, give you credit for the 2. I'm going to wipe out any money you owe. Go get a job, man. Get a trade, like a pipe fitter, plumbing, electrician. Do that, and I'm telling you, you can make a ton of money.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This we side, what are we doing tonight? No, friend, Judge.
The other way I think that much.
The problem is that actually it was it's not a conviction. Whereas if I have a conviction where we basically I'm now supposed to be held. I think it is, we're gonna sign it, and then put what you guys, and then we're gonna get them to do it as well. And I'll time serve him, but you know what I mean? Yes, there are serious consequences. How we. Okay. Well, the problem is he's in custody. Does he have time to do it? Or is
He was out. He was out on bond.
is he here now? Or is it?
He was earlier. I think they left hard.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Sure. Thank you. Okay. Hi.
Good morning.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
That's no worries.
Who do we have?
Judge Wilfredo Vasquez Correa.
Vasquez Correa. Good morning, Mr. Vasquez Correa.
Yes.
Sir, you're charged with criminal trespass. You were on bond for a criminal trespass. You picked up a new criminal trespass.
Would you hear PC?
Okay.
Well, okay, first I was approached on the new one, which is kind of the same issue as the first one, but I want to just
Okay, so Mr. Vasquez Correa, you're charged with criminal trespass. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed. Please.
On February 26, 2025, at 10:18 p.m., an officer on view multiple trespassers at a business in Harris County, Texas. The officer observed the defendant and multiple others leaning against the front of the business window by the front door. The defendant provided information and a person checks found the defendant to have been arrested from the same location on September 6, 2024. The complainant, the owner of the business, has a trespass affidavit on file. The defendant was identified with his Honduras passport.
Okay.
The only issue is that trespass affidavit, there's nothing filed on that. I don't have a copy of it. It's not
Wait.
a exhibit.
You're not. You don't need a copy of it. He needs just to know that it exists. And he's been arrested there before.
Right.
I mean, I think that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Mr. Vasquez, every time you go back to this location, you will probably be arrested. And over. There are plenty of other places for you to go to. You can talk to your lawyer, and we can find a place for you to go to. But here, at this what is this location, please?
Convenience store, Judge.
Let me double check.
They don't want you there. Don't go back. You will continue to get arrested. Do you understand?
Yes.
What did I just say?
¿Qué es lo que le dije? Repite.
Y que no volver a entrar a la tienda.
To not go into the store.
¿Qué te va a pasar?
What's going to happen? I'm going to get into it. I determined.
Y lo dice porque voy a comprar una pastilla clínica.
I went to go buy some.
No, don't go back.
No regrese.
Yeah.
Anywhere else.
En cualquier otro
Not
lugar.
this place.
¿Ese lugar?
Okay.
Judge, also approach because he's got an older case.
Yeah. I'll just raise it up by $1.
Okay. Raise it by now.
Okay. So for now, I will have you go talk with your lawyer so we can figure out how things are going to go. All I'm asking you to do is please don't go back to this convenience store. Find.
For your information, I have it listed as a Salvadorian restaurant.
Un restaurante salvadoreño.
That's what comes up on Google. There is a grocery supermarket located directly next to it.
Maybe perhaps that's it. Okay. All right. Good luck, sir.
Hace buena suerte, señor.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. How are you, man? Say it again.
Good.
Great. So, what are you doing with yourself these days?
Right now, I'm currently working. I don't have a GED. I was just talking to my lawyer, telling me about some opportunities.
So we have paperwork that we can give you. There you can enroll in the classes. They're free. Where you can start working to get your GED. That's the best possible thing that you can do for yourself right now, because when you get your high school diploma, you will make a gajillion more than anyone who doesn't have their high school diploma. You can't go through life at a minimum without your high school diploma. And it's easy, and you can do it at your leisure. Do you have a computer? Okay, so what we'll do is I'll have you talk with Shatoria. She'll give you the paperwork, start signing up for it. And then if you need anything else, just come back and we can, try to help you with it. Okay? Absolutely. But it's not easy. But just keep at it. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? Okay, man. Thanks. Of course. Thanks. Thank you, Shatoria.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Hey.
Hi,
Hey, Sam, what's up?
Good, Judge. Judge, I'm covering for Eric Clay. He's in the jury. I have Mr. Mendoza in the jury box.
Thanks, Mr. Lynn.
Page
Did
19.
you just find out something?
Judge, he was sent to a rapid test, I guess, from the note that I have from
Oh,
him.
that's right.
And when he came back on Friday, the court was closed, so he returned today.
Yes, Judge, we rolled him from his court-ordered drug test on Friday. It came back presumptively for THC, and then regarding the drug test history we have, he was originally put under supervision on October 10th of 2024. He tested positive THC then, we gave him a court reset to allow for time for dissipation. He tested again on the 21st of November 2024.
Okay, so I'm not taking any of that into account.
Yes,
So, right. So, come up, Mr. Mendoza. So, yeah, that I remember, but that's all like history, as they say. No more. I will test you 45 to 50 days from today. If I find that you test positive again, it's not going to go well for you. Do you understand? You're not to use alcohol. You're not to use illegal drugs. I think we learned not to drive as well, right? You didn't have the license?
No idea about that. Do you have a driver's license?
Working on it right now.
So,
He doesn't.
I'm not allowed to as well. You're not to possess weapons. If I find you case violate any of these conditions, you know what happens. Okay?
Judge, and he
Great.
curfew.
Tell me.
He has a curfew from 9 to 6, I guess, but he's saying that he gets home around 11 p.m.
Well, if I could get it set to like 12, or I could get like at least an hour from work to home, because I work all the way in downtown, and usually the latest I leave is 11. I have proof of schedule and everything. I already sent it to my
Show it to Fleischer, and then we can work with you. But if I find that you pick up a new case, if you're out other than working, the only reason you can be out is to work. So I'm not giving you on the weekend. Do you understand? I don't want, and on the weekend, he's got regular curfew.
I work from, well, right now my schedule is looking from Thursday to Sunday.
What do you do?
I work at a restaurant, at the Pit Room in downtown. The Pit Room.
Okay. So on the days you're not working, curfew stands. On the days you work, then, but I don't want you out past this. You understand?
So from like my day.
So if your work ends at 11, you know, how far are you late from the restaurant?
I want to say like 30 to 40 minutes from my work, from my job.
What time do you get home?
It's because there's never a set time. Like it usually just on average, I want to say like 10:50, almost 11.
Did you get home with that?
Around there usually if I do what everything I'm supposed to, but if it's easier than usual, usually latest I've gotten out was 11.
Okay, then that's it. All right. Okay.
11 to 6. When you have to leave home?
I mean, if he's working that late, then you should go in later on. You know what I mean?
Yes, Judge.
He's not working at 7 in the
Just want
morning.
to make sure that he's clear about the time that he can leave the
Okay.
house. Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Judge. Excuse.
You said for Lane, the council approached him a little while ago that you weren't gonna raise any of the bonds, correct?
Hmm?
For Lane, Brandon?
They got dismissed.
Oh, they were all dismissed? I thought you just approached him and saying,
I could point aside 3 dismissals on today.
was Lane dismissed? I do not recall dismissing that, but.
Or maybe it was Brandon something out, maybe I signed.
Brandon Brown?
That's it. Sorry.
Sorry, I was like, council just approached on it, and I remember. I'm so confused. Because I think Victoria asked if you were gonna do anything to the previous bonds, and you said no.
Yeah.
Because they're already high, so regarding that, I was just wondering, for the BVRs, are they already signed actually? I think I might just be hallucinating, honestly. If they're already signed, please ignore me. If they are not signed,
They're all done.
they're all done.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just making these judgments.
There you go. Let me see.
Yes, sir, Judge. Judge, I am here on Mr. Sean Anguiana. I understand that he's set for arraignment, Judge. I've also talked to pretrial. They said that he tested positive for marijuana.
Come on, Sangliano. So one case is 190 days old, Mr. D.
Yes, sir.
The other case is 116 days old. So both of them are reckless driving. Probable cause has been found on both. I've ordered you not to drive. I've ordered you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to test you again in 45 to 50 days. If I find that you continue to smoke, then you will end up staying with me. Do you understand? We pick up a new case. I'm going to go absolutely bonkers on your bond. If you fail to stay in contact with the lawyer that we give you, likewise on your bond. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So, do you have offers on these cases? If
I do
not,
not believe we have offers on the others.
can you please put them on?
Yes.
I'm going to give you guys 30 days. You must be back at that time to determine what you want to do with these cases. You must accept a plea bargain from the state, or I will set your cases for trial. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you ready? Are they getting him?
As deputy, could we get Mr. Kirkland Wyckoff? Can you sign this stuff so we can?
Is anyone else?
No. Have you ever? No.
Mr. Wilson? I didn't have. Mr. Joseph?
Yes. You need my signature? Yeah, yes.
I keep signing the dismissal on, what's it called? Craig. I need you to take it out so I stop signing it, please.
Yeah.
Video there, so I watched the video.
When he was required to do the
There. I keep signing it. You can take it out, please.
Yes, Judge.
Another one that from the government, he always take me required work at that point.
I unsigned the wrong one.
That's over the board. Obviously.
I'll just put the unsticky out.
Yes.
Deputy Miranda. Thank
So the newer video, not the older one,
The NHA is the one I want to unsign.
I'll delete that one right now, just to get it out of there.
7 or the
Okay.
14?
That's over 87.
You can see the clear box here.
Mr. Sean?
Right, the perfect, whatever license. Yes.
Got my call.
Next time, hold still. Take it off, and do it one more time.
টিকটক কুইন হইতে যা যা লাগে মানে নাচ গান অভিনয় আর শাবনূর মৌসুমীকে হারায় দেওয়ার মতো এইসব যা কিছু সবই মালার আছে অথচ আসল জিনিসটাই নাই একটা ভালো স্মার্টফোন আমি আমার জীবন দিয়ে ভালোবাসি মালাকে মালা তার জীবন দিয়ে ভালোবাসে টিকটককে অবশ্য টিকটককে মালার ভালো না বাইসাও উপায় নাই টিকটক কুইন হইতে যা যা লাগে মানে নাচ গান অভিনয় আর শাবনূর মৌসুমীকে হারায় দেওয়ার মতো এইসব যা কিছু সবই মালার আছে অথচ আসল জিনিসটাই নাই একটা ভালো স্মার্টফোন ফলে আমাদের দুজনের একসাথে দেখা একটাই স্বপ্ন একইভাবে ভাঙা যায় মাঝে মাঝে কাজের মধ্যে আনন্দ খুঁজে নিতে আমি হয়ে যাই বলিউডের সালমান খান কিংবা ঢালিউডের ডিপজল চৌধুরী। এই চুরি কইরা অন্যের জীবনযাপন করার সবচেয়ে মজার অভিজ্ঞতাটা হইল এক পুলিশের পোশাক পইরা চোর থেকে পুলিশ বনে যাওয়া যায় আর নিজেকে নিজে এই বইলা সান্ত্বনা দেওয়া যায়, বাবু সারা জীবন এই সূত্রটা না ভুলিস, মানুষ মাত্রই কখনো চোর কখনো বাসে পুলিশ। হ্যালো, ইন্সপেক্টর নাজিমুদ্দৌলা বলছি। ভালো 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 ভালো, শোনো শোনো শোনো, আমি ধরছি, বলো। আমার পকেটে 20 টাকাও নাই, অথচ আমি মালার জন্য মোবাইল পছন্দ করি মোবাইল মার্কেট ঘুইরা ঘুইরা, যদিও জানি না মোবাইল কেনার টাকাটা কই থেকে আসবে। এইরকম দুঃখে কবিরা নীরব হয়ে যায় আর আমার হয় উল্টা। আমি মনে মনে বলি, হায় রে মালা, তোকে দেখলেই কমে যায় হৃদয়ের জ্বালা, অপেক্ষায় আছি তোমাকে করব এমন কাবু, প্রেমে পাগল হয়ে সারাদিন শুধু ডাকবা বাবু বাবু বাবু।
Who's Jasmine Cole? Okay.
If she's ready.
You are Bruce Kimber King, Nancy Kimber.
It's Kimberly with the K is wrong.
So it's not Nancy.
Yes, it is Nancy. I was just saying the last name is wrong.
Okay, we'll fix it.
Okay.
Each of you are charged with assault, causing bodily injury. You are each facing a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
On February 23rd, 2025, an officer responded to the parking lot of the Bell Rock Market Station in Harris County, Texas. The officer was advised by dispatch that there were multiple subjects physically fighting and that a female was being dragged across the ground. Upon arrival, the officer saw that 2 females and 1 male had been detained and they were put in separate patrol vehicles. The female that was assaulted, the complainant, was placed in the back of the ambulance. Defendant 1, ID'd as Nancy Flores Gamberling. Defendant 2 was identified as Bruce Gamberling. Defendant 3 was identified as Jasmine Brianna Cole by their Texas driver's license. The officer made contact with the complainant who advised she had come to the location to deliver food to a customer because she was working a food delivery service. The complainant parked next to another vehicle and started to get the groceries out of the back of her vehicle, and the complainant noticed Defendant 1 and Defendant 2 staring at her inside the vehicle next to her. The complainant thought it was odd but continued to grab the groceries. She went to the staircase and Defendant 1 rolled down her window and advised the complainant that where she parked was not a parking spot. The complainant responded asking if they were security and continued to make her way to the delivery. The complainant was on her way back and she observed Defendant 1 and Defendant 2 at the bottom of the staircase and there were more people with them. The complainant stated that Defendant 1 was talking trash toward her when she got to the bottom of the stairs. Defendant 1 then got in the complainant's face and did a push and shove where the defendant jabbed her hand at the complainant and it pushed the complainant back. The complainant stated she then put her arm up towards defendant 1 and then she advised she started getting physically struck on both sides of her head multiple times. The complainant advised that she was able to grab a hold of defendant 1's hair. The complainant stated at some point they ended up on the ground and someone was holding her head down. She stated she was eventually able to look up and saw that defendant 2 was holding her head down and he kicked her. The officer watched a video that was taken of the incident and it showed the complainant getting off the ground, then complainant 1, the complainant and the first defendant fighting each other. It was shown that a male had stepped in and broke them apart. The officer observed the complainant to have visible injuries. The complainant was bleeding from her left eye and had lacerations to her eyelid and had active bleeding and swelling around her left ear. The complainant stated she felt pain and discomfort. The officer spoke to defendant 1, who stated they were waiting for their family members in the car when the complainant came and parked close to the front of their vehicle. The defendant 1 and defendant 2 were wondering who the complainant was because the garage next to theirs was vacant. And defendant 1 advised that she told the complainant that where she parked was not a parking spot. And the complainant responded saying that she did not give a fuck and threatened to call ICE and called defendant 1 racial slurs. Defendant 1 was not sure what racial slurs were said exactly. Defendant 1 advised the complainant threatened to slap the shit out of her with a water bottle. Defendant 1 stated that she would call the cops. Defendant 1 stated that her and defendant 2 waited at the bottom of the staircase for their family members. When the complainant came downstairs, the complainant stated that she was going to beat the fuck out of her. The defendant stated she was struck by the complainant and did not know how, and they ended up on the ground and did not know how, and defendant 1 did not remember much. The defendant's son came in and separated her and the complainant. The officer also spoke to defendant 2, who has read his Miranda rights and did not want to provide a statement. The officer spoke to defendant 3 and read her Miranda rights, and she stated she would. Yes, Judge. And she stated she would give a statement. Defendant 3 stated she was getting ready to go meet defendant 1 and defendant 2 when she came downstairs, and defendant 1 had told defendant 3 about the complainant. Defendant 3 went back upstairs to grab some things, and when defendant 3 was on her way back down, she heard the complainant saying racial slurs to defendant 1. While at the bottom of the stairs, defendant 3 saw defendant 1 and the complainant to be face to face. Defendant 3 stated the complainant struck defendant 1 and they started fighting and ended up on the ground. Defendant 3 advised she kicked the complainant in order to get her off of defendant 1.
Yeah. So you did say that 3, Miss Cole?
She admitted to kicking.
Guys, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with each of your cases. I'm now ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case and not to go back to this location. Do each of you understand?
We live at the location. They live at the location.
What is it?
It was a door capture and she was dropping off groceries.
So she was just dropping off groceries to them?
Not to them. She was dropping off groceries to another resident at the complex.
I see. Okay, so that was, got it. Okay. So like I said, I am going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm not going to prevent you from going back to this location, but I am ordering you not to have any contact with the complaining witness and not to be in possession of any weapons. If I find that you're a danger to my community, if I find that you pick up any cases, you get into fights with anyone else, you lay your hands on anyone else, I will lay my hands on your bonds, throw them in the air, and put you in jail. Do you understand? I will protect my community at all costs. I don't care who comes, I don't care where they park, I don't care what your excuse is, it doesn't matter to me. Do each of you understand? Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
So do you mind filing no contact with the complaining witness? No weapons?
Yes, Judge.
Do each of you have the ability to hire a lawyer? Okay, we will give you each time to go hire a lawyer. So we're going to reset your cases, give you time. When you come back, please have a lawyer. For now, I will have you sign, each of you have to sign a reset with Victoria. I will have you take a seat in the jury box while they get your bond conditions. I'll have you sign, and after that, you'll be free to go. Keep my county safe. Do you understand? I don't want any more danger. I have only one place for people who are dangerous in my book. Do you understand? We will not get any more warnings. You are Noe Lopez.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lopez, you're charged with 2 cases. You're charged with harassment. You're also charged with criminal mischief. On both of those cases, you are facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
On February 23rd, 2025, an officer was dispatched to a disturbance family call at a residence in Harris County, Texas. The officer made contact with the defendant and the complainant. The complainant stated the defendant, her ex-boyfriend, had been causing a disturbance at the residence. The complainant stated the defendant moved out after breaking up with her and began to contact her again via text messages. The defendant then came over to the residence uninvited that morning. The complainant believed the defendant was intoxicated. The defendant banged on doors and windows all around the residence, scaring her and her children. The complainant stated the defendant left prior to the officer's arrival. After the officer left, the complainant had to run errands and got in a pickup truck and noticed the right rear window had been smashed. The complainant believed the defendant may have used a brick to break the window. The complainant found a brick on the bed of a truck near the window. The defendant returned uninvited in the afternoon and once again started banging on the resident's door and window trying to come inside. The defendant advised he was trying to remove some of his property that broke the complainant's truck window earlier because the complainant was having a hassle with him. The defendant stated he did not use a brick to break the window, instead he used something else. The defendant later stated he no longer had any property there and he wished he never left his own residence. The complainant also advised the defendant had been continuously messaging her via text even after she informed the defendant she no longer wanted anything to do with him. The officer observed several only incoming text messages from the defendant, approximately over 40 text messages, 2 audio messages, and a photo message within 2 days. The cost of the window was approximately $200.
Okay. Mr. Lopez, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, then I will revoke your bond and put you in jail. You understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm also ordering you not to have any contact with this person and not to be in possession of weapons, not to go within 1,000 feet of where she lives, where she works.
Sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
If I find that you go anywhere near this person is obviously afraid, I don't want you to accidentally bump into her, so I don't want you to go anywhere where she lives or where she works. If I find that you do, likewise into jail you will go. No more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So would you mind reaching out to the complaining witness to let her know that we've entered this order for a radius so that if she should try to have any kind of contact with her via messages, cell phone, anyway, to let us know. Mr. Lopez, would you like to apply for a court-appointed lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I already have an affidavit, Deputy Miranda. So for now, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. You will get with Felicia if your bond conditions, and then I'll have you take your seat in the jury box while I find your lawyer. Okay,
Yes, sir.
Please.
Judge,
Hey, good morning.
I'm sorry. Did you call me?
Yes. Are you ready?
Yes, I just wanted to jump in on Miss Di. She was the PTI that you extended at the latter part of last year. I don't think there's any issues where she wouldn't be. She's present, where she wouldn't be able to be discharged. I just didn't know if the court had that information. Katavia Di.
Dye. D-Y-E.
I'm looking at it now, Judge.
She's-
We haven't gotten the distance notice yet, but we can reach out and stuff.
I'll reach out to Brenda about this one.
Okay. Do you want to come back, Elena?
I can, or if she's free to go. I mean, if there's not any issues and she's been discharged, I guess.
I don't know. They haven't gotten wind to
I'll
this
come back.
yet.
Okay, I'll come
Yeah.
back.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Bye-bye.
Judge, this is Justice on page 14.
Okay. You were Mr. Justice. Sir, you were charged with assault, bodily injury. You were facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We were going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, it won't be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. On October 8th, 2024, officers were dispatched to an assault call at an apartment complex in Harris County, Texas. The officer made contact with the complainant, who stated that the defendant, her daughter's friend, struck her in the face. The complainant stated that the defendant contacted her daughter the day before, on October 7th, 2024, in reference to a pair of pants he left for the residence about a year ago. The complainant stated that the defendant was told that they no longer had those jeans. The complainant stated that she posted